Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kelly White.
Hi, everybody. Hello. I'm spiritual medium Kelly White, and this is Ask Me Anything. Oh my God. Hi, Tracy. Thank you, Tracy, for that beautiful birthday card. I got that today, and today's not my birthday, but I got it. So thank you, Tracy. That was really sweet. Hi, Dee from Chicagoland. Oh my God. Hi, Beth Glonsky from Michigan. Yes, Dr. Shirley and Karie are going to be on tonight. How exciting is that? It's going to be so fun. Hi, Julie West. Lori Counts. Hi. She says hi to you too, Renee. Hi, Sarah. Hey, Susie Wright. Hi, Linda. Hi, Marge. This is so much fun. Hi, Mary Baker. I love that name. Hey, Patrick. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thanks, honey. And Margaret. Da, da, da. Hi, Ann Margaret. Hi, Renee Hounsel. Beautiful evening wishes to you too, everybody. And wherever you are. Oh, hey, Verna from Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Wow. Hi, Renee Martinez. I was just thinking of you. Whenever I say Renee, I always think of you. Hi, Liz. Hi, Peggy Van Zandt. Hi, Judy from Utah. Nice to see everybody tonight. Is everybody getting a little bit of cooler weather now? You know, we are on the farm. It's getting to be a little cooler. So I chose some different color flowers today because we're headed into fall. Hard to believe. Earth, Wind, and Fire is playing here tonight. Are you? Oh, per my Facebook post, yes. 2 years ago, Shirley and Karie and I, we have a picture of it. We're at the Hollywood Bowl for Earth, Wind, and Fire. It was like such a great. That was my last big concert that I went to. Hi, Debbie Foster. How are you? Hey, Gretchen White. Oh my gosh. Hi, Connie from Oregon. Oh my gosh, it's so much fun that everybody is from all these different areas. This is just great. Oh, so it's hot and humid in Long Island? That's too bad. But anyway, well, everybody, we have quite a show tonight. But I wanted to talk a little bit about, well, a few things here. So I've been gone for a couple of weeks, so it's really great to be back. And James and I will be back on Monday. We have a special guest, so that's going to be a great show too. And tonight is Yom Kippur, and it is the Day of Atonement. So if it has the day today, if you felt a little more serious energy, I always find on Yom Kippur it's a much more serious energy. It's a powerful, energetic day. So I did want to mention that to everybody. And also, I'm going to talk a little bit about the astrology because I am quite certain you guys have been feeling this unbelievably intense energy. Has it been intense? Has everybody hi Lizette, hey Terry. Has everybody been feeling that intensity of the energy? Because it's been intense. Oh, thank you, Jody. That's so sweet. Hi, everybody. Betty, you're feeling weepy? Yeah, a lot of people are feeling weepy, and I'm going to talk about that. So, I do want to say that on the 14th, so today is the 16th of September, 2021. And on September 14th, Mars entered Libra. And when that happened, it was a very intense day. It was started to get very intense. This week has been very intense, and we're headed into more emotions, more intensity this week. So I want to say starting tomorrow. So tomorrow is September 17th, and this goes to about the 23rd of September, which is great because that's right smack where my birthday is. Great. Venus is squaring Saturn, and Uranus. So when Venus, the planet of love, is squaring Saturn, the planet of like karma, intensity, work, health, those kind of things, and it's squaring Uranus, the planet of surprise, it's going to bring up a lot of emotions, a lot of intensity, I'm going to say, a lot of emotions, and it's going to bring things up to clear them up, to clear them out, things that maybe you've been storing inside, emotions that you've been storing. But on top of that, because, that's not enough. I know that James calls me the doomsday astrologer, but on September 20th, I don't know why I'm laughing about this. It's my birthday. I can't even imagine that day. But we have a Pisces full moon. Okay. It's the harvest moon. And I have to say, now that I live on a farm, I really appreciate that harvest part of the moon. You used to, you hear harvest moon. What does that mean? I tell you what, these farmers are out there harvesting everything right now. So that's really kind of neat. But anyway, the harvest moon, it is conjunct Neptune. So Neptune is the dreamy planet, and the moon, whenever there's a full moon, the emotions always get bigger. And when it's next to Neptune, the dreamy planet, emotional planet, is going to get much more intense, right? Much more emotions. But it's opposing Mars, which Mars is, like war, intensity, energy. So it's going to really, and it's funny because it's during Virgo, which is practical, and emotion, Neptune, which is emotions. So it's going to be complicated emotions. It's going to be deep emotions. And this is a time where it'll be really great for you to allow yourself to just cry. Betty, if you need to cry, cry. If you need to, whatever it is you need emotionally, just let it all out because this is a great moon for releasing energy. Now, some people, like Tracy said, it's been intense but strange, and you've been happy and joyfully singing and baking. Fabulous. Along with tears from empathy. Yeah, there's a lot of that's going to be going on. Oh, Susie, I forgot about that. Harvest Moon, Neil Young. I forgot about that song. So, yes, purge, as Renee is saying. It's a time to purge. It's a time to let go. It's a time to great time, I will say, for letting your crystals out and washing your crystals and putting them out in that moon, and programming them to help you with emotions. It would be really, really a great thing to do. But it's going to be a big. I think it's a big one. I think it's going to be a very big time. It's also a time to let go of any regrets. So you've had a few regrets. I was thinking that Frank Sinatra song, but it's time to let go of all the old regrets. It's time to release bad habits also. So anytime, it's a great time to release, and I'm going to say, just let it go, whatever it happens to be, you know. And then on September 22nd, the sun enters Libra, and we also have the fall equinox. So that's going to be an interesting time. And on the 27th, Mercury, the sixth planet during this time, will go retrograde. And then, so I'm going to say that the energies for the next several, probably weeks, but certainly the next 2 or 3 weeks, are going to be very intense. And then when we get into this retrograde, Mercury retrograde, that brings things back into our life. So let's say you'll get a lot of lessons about maybe people that enter your life that you don't need in your life anymore. It might be a great lesson there. Um, Not a great time to sign contracts. Really, really, really read the fine print on that. And it's a great time though to writing. And I'm telling this to myself because I say this every time finish my book. So it's a great time for that. But I'm going to say there'll be a lot of letting go, a lot of healing, a lot of emotions, and just how do you program your crystals? Jody said. Yeah, I did it my way. Um, okay, so how do you program your crystals? What you do is you want to rinse them off. Like I just happen to have this one right here, which is isn't that a great? I love this. It's a fossilized crystal in that. I love it. What you do is you rinse them in some like salted water. Of course, if you live at the ocean, that'd be great. But if you live on a farm, you just fill up a big tub of water and put some salt in it and let the crystals sit, kind of soak. Then take them out and dry them off. And then you program it to what you want. If you want positive thinking, you need help with love, you need help with a broken heart, you program it for that. Okay, whatever it is that you are personally needing. Okay, guess who's here? Get
Hi.
yeah,
Hi.
Nina's here. Oh my
We just
god,
popped on.
I'm
We
so
just said, do
happy.
it.
I'm so glad you did. Hi, girls.
Oh,
So
hi.
everybody, we've got Karie Gonia here and Dr. Shirley and Pellizzeri.
Hi.
Hi.
So glad you guys are here tonight. Do you know, we
Aw.
a few years ago, We were all together, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Hollywood Bowl.
Oh my God, that's right. For your
That's right.
birthday.
That's
It's
right.
Kelly's birthday.
I know, it was
Coming up.
so fun. I
That
popped
was-
in backstage when you said that, and I was like, wait, they're playing tonight? I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why
Oh
are
my
we
God.
not there?
Why are we not there? But that was a
Yeah.
great night. Wasn't that a
Oh,
fun
was
that
night?
was
so
so
fun.
fun.
Oh,
So
that was
fun.
that was my last giant, concert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, well, I saw Theo, my brother, after that.
That's right.
But it was not on that size. That venue was, well, the Hollywood Bowl, my
Yeah.
favorite place. That's so great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad everybody is so happy you're here. Hi, lovely ladies.
Aw.
Alicia says hi, Carrie and Shirley. Tracy
Hi.
calls you her Earth Angels.
Mm.
Lizette says, hey, beautiful souls. The three elements. She's right. Earth, wind, and fire. That's true.
That's so funny.
Oh my God. So
Okay, what would
well,
we be? Who's Earth, who's Wind, and who's Fire? Just out of curiosity.
I am fire. I will appoint myself. My
Okay.
rising is Aries.
Okay, yeah, but in my rising's Leo, so I'd have to. But I'm going to go with
I love
it
that.
is. But I'm going to go with Earth.
Okay,
But
well, I'm
Cheryl,
water because I'm a Pisces. So there you go.
But it's not Earth,
Earth,
wind, and
Wind,
water.
Fire.
Wind.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
it's like
Wind. Okay. Well,
You've had a long day, Cheryl.
I've had a long
wind and
day.
water.
It was
Wow.
close. It
Wow.
started with a W.
Exactly. Thank you, guys. See how supportive you are. That's what people need, are friends who are that supportive.
That's
But,
true.
okay,
That's
Wind.
true.
Yeah, I go with the way the wind blows sometimes.
Yeah.
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 I don't know if we can make that fit, but we'll try, Cheryl.
I'm trying, Kel. I'm trying.
Everybody's going to call it wind and water.
Wait. No. I have a convertible and I'm always with the top down.
Okay.
Oh,
because I love
that's
the wind in
true.
my hair.
Okay,
Yes,
that's
there you
true.
go.
And
See,
I
I
live on a
found it.
farm, and I'm like picking corn. So yeah,
There you go. Earth. Yeah,
There
we
you
found
go.
it. We found it.
Okay.
Oh, that's
But I
awesome.
think all of us can get our anger going if we need it, right? With that
Oh,
fire element.
absolutely. Oh,
I
yeah.
think if we need it, it's right there.
I call it
Anger.
sacred rage. That's what I call it lately.
Anger is life force. If
Yeah.
we didn't have the capacity to get angry, we wouldn't fight back and the
Yeah.
species wouldn't have survived. So it's a very real and necessary evolutionary emotion that unfortunately our society has termed a bad thing.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
like that, Cheryl.
Yeah.
I have some questions for people that people wrote. So I've
Sure.
got questions for everybody to answer. So
Hmm.
I thought we're going to start with Tracy. Tracy asked a great question. Tracy Hildreth. She said, how do you take your power back? Also, I'm still choosing the wrong people to trust. How do you fix a broken picker? Isn't that a great question? I have some thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have some thoughts, Tracy. So I'll start and then you guys just jump on in.
Okay.
I think you have to set your intention that I have a great picker. I have the best picker of all. And you have to set that intention. You know how everybody's heard of gut health? Well, this is a gut intuition. You have to follow your intuition. You have to get in touch with your intuition, and you can't let anybody overpower you. I think that's what happens. And you have to start trusting your own gut, that feeling in your gut, and set that intention. Because my picker was always broken. I mean,
Yeah.
always. And then it wasn't.
Until it wasn't.
And then it wasn't.
Karen,
do
do
you
you have
guys think?
something to say
I
about it?
love happy endings.
Right?
I always look at things from a family constellation perspective. So I always, when people tell me that the picker is broken, there's some early like victimization that has happened in early childhood, typically like 10 and under, of being gaslit or not heard or not seen. So I'm always like, go backwards, work forward. And I love that about intentions. I feel like intentions are wildly underrated.
Oh, well, Beth has a great question. She says, when you say set an intention, can you explain how to set an intention? So, I mean, I believe what do you want to create? And then you go from there. I want to create a position that I can pick very well. I make very good choices. And that's the intention. You set the intention. You become conscious of what you need and act on it.
And I think also visualize it already having happened.
Yeah.
You know, I just had one gal today tell me 8 years ago, she thought of this one person who's very well known and said, and had this kind of thing. She wanted to have a meeting with him. Well, cut to tomorrow at 9, she's having a meeting with this, and it was a very specific name. So there's something
Wow.
about setting an intention and being specific about it
Mhm.
and it manifesting.
Yeah, yeah. We're
But
actually going to be talking about how to manifest things on spiritual laws. I'm going to be talking about that for Roots of Healing. When we do Roots of Healing, I'm going to be talking about 7 spiritual laws, and I am going to include setting your intention and that those kind of things in that arena. And it's actually what you're saying, Shirley. It's absolutely right what you're saying. You said it that way. You said it
yeah,
forward that it's already happened.
yeah,
And I think of them as like sacred prayers. It's like ask for the thing that you're afraid to even say out loud. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
that, I think the more
Yeah.
like kind of oomph you can get behind the intention, and then it's easier to actually stand in the energy that it's already happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
they're fun.
yeah. And then when
And
it happens, it kind of it's
Yeah,
mind blowing, at least
yeah,
to me still, even though I
yeah.
believe in all that stuff. But going with the wrong picker too, it's so important to do trauma work because there's a reason. It doesn't make any sense
right.
for someone to say, I want a guy or a gal who wants to commit, who is loving, and then we pick the opposite of that all the time. That doesn't make any sense. And so there's an unhealed wound from childhood, a pattern that you're either repeating over and over and over again. And once you heal that wound, all of a sudden you realize, because I've seen it over and over again, that you are all of a sudden attracted to someone that a year ago you would have never been attracted to.
Yes.
And lo and behold, that person fits every criteria that you wanted. That's the opposite of what you've always been attracted to. So doing, healing trauma and childhood wounds is, I
Oh,
think, a very important piece.
it's such an important piece.
Yeah.
Now, Carrie, we have one question. This is, I think, more geared towards you, but Shirley, please jump in. And I'm going to combine the two of them. One is a woman named Anne Gabb, and the other woman is Laura Parmley Hoffman. And they both have similar questions. And it's, how far back can we connect with our relatives who have passed on? My uncle committed suicide 65 years ago when I was 2.5. I knew very
Wow.
little about him because the family never talked about him, and didn't like answering any of the questions. I believe he committed suicide because he developed seizures as a result of head injuries from motorcycle riding because helmets were not a thing when he was young. As a result of these unpredictable seizures, he didn't work and he lived with my grandmother. Do you think he knows and or cares that I care and that I want to know everything about him? I want him to know he isn't forgotten. Now, hold that thought because Laura Parmley Hoffman says, I recently found out about several suicides on my father's side going back several generations.
Mm.
Plus, these suicides weren't talked about, so very similar stories here, right? But now, as my dad is in a nursing home, a few stories have come out. I'm curious to why this was passed down through so many generations. Is this something that Carrie can answer?
I always tell people look to the Hemingways. What they have, what seven? I mean, they have
So
documented
yes.
7 documented suicides, which blows my mind.
Totally.
Wow.
Cross generationally, yeah. Is it Mariel?
Mariel.
Mm.
Did a documentary, Running from Crazy, that is extraordinary.
Yes.
I'm like fascinated with that family because it just shows you the trauma that hasn't been dealt with just keeps getting
Right.
passed down. I almost cried at the first part. Oh my God, the fact that you have so much energy around wanting the great uncle to know
Right.
that you are witnessing his struggle, his pain, his suicide, his life is what will heal it. That is absolutely what will heal it. So I think that is
Wow.
extraordinary. So there's probably some pattern that is breaking in
Wow.
her actually honoring everything that he went through. It's funny too about the nursing home. I see this a lot with Alzheimer's parents, grandparents that have Alzheimer's. It's like they will start to tell the secrets, and it's like typically end of life is where some of in previous generations is where some of that stuff starts to come out.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah.
true. That's so true.
Yeah.
Gosh. Well, thank you for that. That's a great answer. Here's an interesting one, and this is from Karen Bennett. She said, I have a combined, Shirley, you'll appreciate this. I have a combined psychology spiritual question. I am fascinated that scientific university research is finding that after death communication really does have a healing effect on grieving. Do you think
Mhm.
there will be a time in the near future where mediums and healers will be working with healthcare providers to deal with grief related depression and maybe reduce reliance on some medications that doctors can be quick to prescribe?
Mm.
What will it take for naysayers to believe? Cheryl?
Well, I sure hope so. And I love that. And what I wanted to say is to the researchers, no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah.
Because Kelly, you and I connected a long time ago. And when I saw the healing, I decided I don't care who of my colleagues,
Yeah, you
I
were
get
really great
criticized
to help
or
me with that.
judged for believing in this because I saw the healing,
Yeah.
even in the body language. So I would love actually to get a copy of that study, or who the author is or the title of it, and I can look it up. But thank you for bringing that up. I think it is. I think we're
I
all
do too.
going to start
Yeah.
once there's scientific proof. I mean, even quantum physics is showing that there are more dimensions than just this one. So I think once the scientists embrace it because they have enough proof, then I think it is going to be more of a
Yeah.
household thing.
Well, and I've been doing that for years. I mean,
Yeah.
probably 20 years, working with psychiatrists, psychologists. Shirley certainly brought me in. My mom as a psychologist, the man who was my neuropsychiatrist, actually, when I had my brain injury, I found myself in a location where he was, and his wife was there, and I started giving his wife a message, and kind of blew the lid off of everything. And then he became a solid believer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's interesting how that works. So, yeah, I think we're going to see it. I don't know in my lifetime. I hope it gets more.
Mm.
I hope so. I mean, that's one of my purposes in this life. So I hope
Yeah.
so.
I
Thank you for
definitely
that.
feel like you guys opened the door. You know what I mean? Like,
I think we
especially
did too.
you, left brain, like,
Oh.
I mean, it's so extraordinary that you open that door, and I feel like you
Did.
guide people through it, which is beautiful.
Well, I just, when you see it firsthand,
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
never forget the experiences Kelly and I would have in the office
Yeah.
together. It was just hilarious, and it would blow my mind. It still blows my
Yeah.
mind every time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's real. I mean, and I love the attitude that both of you have, that I have too. It doesn't matter,
Yeah.
if you don't believe it. I actually feel really kind of, I feel the pain and the fear of people who don't believe there's anything after we pass,
I
because they
know,
live in this
Shirley.
existential anxiety. I have a few
Yeah.
clients that live there, and they're getting older, and so the anxiety is rising, and it's this anxiety, and some I share, some I don't, because I want to respect their beliefs, but it's like, God, if you only knew.
Yeah.
I got asked a similar question on a podcast once, and my answer, it was basically like, what would you tell a skeptic? And I was like, nothing. Like,
Yeah, right.
I hope spirit touches their lives. Like, I hope their ancestors are coming through and giving them
Right.
signs and messages, because it's so magical. And I think it helps that anxiety and the fear that we're not alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember my grandmother. They were really very conservative, Jewish conservative, and I would say to her when I was young, what happens when you die? And she'd go, "That's it. It's final. That's it. You die." And I'm like, "What the?" I mean, it threw me into a huge panic. I mean, I'm 10 years old, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" I'm thinking about death, and I mean, and what happens. I mean, it was just a horrible, horrible situation. And then, of course, when she died. Whose door did she come knocking on, constantly, to the point where my mom was like, "Tell her to go away." you know? Oh, it was something.
That's
awesome.
hilarious.
Hilarious,
That is
but
so fun.
man, it didn't have to be. So I have a question for you, Shirley. Dodie Williamson Green says, my question is about working with a somatic therapist. Is this type of therapy available via Zoom rather than in person? Because I don't live near any therapists.
It
And
is.
how does it work on Zoom?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. We didn't think it was going to work as well as it does. And it does, because you're still in tune with your body. And so I can see, I ask people to sit back a little bit so I can see their body. And so I can still tell if their face flushes or if their shoulders are up, or, what might be happening. And so you guide them the same way. They'll tell me something that happened. And as you're saying that, what are you noticing? And so it's
It's the same. So it works very well on Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
You just can't do hands-on, but there's also techniques of how to self-soothe, Yeah.
Oh, that's great to know,
Yeah.
Shirley.
Yeah.
That's great to know. And anybody can go to traumahealing.org and
Mhm.
look for a
To find a
wonderful
therapist,
somatic
yeah.
therapist from that. You
Yeah.
just put your zip code in, and if you're in another country, you put your country, and
Yeah, it's
they're
worldwide, and
it's
of course,
worldwide.
just because someone is trained doesn't make them a good fit for you. So talk to them and see if it feels like a good fit.
Is that the truth? That's so
But I'll
true,
be
Cheryl.
teaching some techniques in our Roots of Healing
Well, so when we do
of how
roots of
trauma affects the body.
yes, and you're going to
Yeah.
give tools for
Yeah.
people.
I
Yeah.
love tools.
I
I love tools.
Yeah. Yeah.
so that's going to be great, and we also
Mm.
are offering a discount today. We have a special code. It's 15% discount,
Ooh,
and if you go to
yay.
kellywhite.com and put roots 2 on that, and Karie is going to be talking about generational programming, which is going to be really interesting. Do you want to explain a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm so excited about generational programming. I feel like we're learning more about it. It's really, family constellation therapy is really about bringing the unconscious into the conscious. So it's the family programming is, why am I a workaholic? Why am I drinking at 8 a.m.? Like just some of those, and I mean, those are extreme examples, but some of the
That's good.
unconscious programming that we not only inherited, but that we witnessed as little kids. And
Yeah, why won't I let
Yeah.
myself succeed? Why won't I let
yeah,
myself be happy?
yeah,
I mean, those are all
loved.
programming. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Do you find that um, when how do I say that when children succeed more than their parents, how does that play in with generational programming?
That's a great question. I see it more the other way around, actually. I
That
see it,
parents are more
or
successful than the kids?
I shouldn't say that. Maybe 10% I've seen has really blown those patterns kind of to bits, but they will sabotage themselves in another way to kind of go back in line, if that makes sense. So I always,
Yeah, it
and
does make sense.
I did that in our last Roots of Healing is I always, when I'm doing the healing statements, I always add kind of a canned statement of, I wish to surpass you in health, happiness, love, joy, whatever,
Yeah.
because I find that they only get too far or only allow themselves to get too far, and then something else catastrophic will happen.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
so interesting. Oh
Mhm.
my
Yeah.
gosh.
Mhm.
Okay. So
That's
here's I've go ahead, Shirley.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say also that's a way to preserve the attachment connection,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
right, Cheryl. I never even thought about that.
Mhm.
Oh
Mhm.
my God. So that you're saying really is status quo on some level.
Well, because you have that attachment connection, and that part of it is the definition of yourself that you made based on how your parents treated you.
Ah,
And so if they weren't successful, they're going to throw that stuff onto you, just like in that generational part. And so then you've made this definition of yourself: I'm not worthy, I'm not deserving, or I'm not. And I'll never forget my somatic therapist as we were going through that. He said, the more you become your own woman,
mhm.
the more you'll sever the psychological ties to your father, he said. And at the beginning, it can feel very
Mhm.
scary. And then he waited until I felt that in my body. And then he said, but then it's profoundly liberating. And when
Mhm.
he said that, I felt my whole body just let go. It was,
Wow.
and it's that we will do anything to preserve that attachment connection.
In family systems, that hose gets kinked because it's the right to belong. So it's like they'll
Yes.
unconsciously, they want to belong. So they'll do
Yes.
anything to belong,
That's
even if that
exactly it.
means having a life that sucks.
Mhm.
So
Wow.
yeah,
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
that's so profound, isn't
yeah.
Yeah.
it?
It's a
Yeah.
wily one.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay, so there's so many questions here, but I'm going to ask. Renee Hounsel says, if we are experiencing emotions much later after being the end of life caregiver for a spouse, not necessarily the passing, more from the illness, is that trauma counseling rather than grief counseling?
We're experiencing.
So do you understand the question? If we're experiencing emotions later after the end of a life caregiver for a spouse, so not
Mhm.
necessarily the passing, but
Mhm.
after is it the trauma? I think it's a lot of it's trauma, don't you?
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
I always think it's a little bit of both, but yeah, I think it would be the trauma of having gone through that,
Yeah.
and then maybe the grief can show up a little bit more after.
Yeah. And also, I have to say, I wonder if anger shows up.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, I would look into family systems too and see if you were a caregiver as a child or if you've been in that role before,
mhm.
you
Yeah.
know.
That's a great thing. Okay, so here's another question here. So this is interesting. This is from Adeline Mersch. She said, "Hello, Kelly. I would love your help with my question. Wait for it, girls. I have a lot of anger towards my mother from when I was growing
How
up.
strange.
Wait a minute. She was very mean, emotionally neglectful, gave me the silent
Mm.
treatment as a kid
Oh,
all the
Mhm.
time, never gave me loving, tender attention." Right now, we're all three right now going, "Oh my God."
Ugh.
mm,
I had a very hard time and was deeply affected by it. Fast forward 25 years and we have a better relationship. However, I find myself getting very angry as she is this loving and caring grandmother to the grandkids. She
mm,
dotes on them, goes to their events. Blah, blah, blah. She goes through this whole thing. She said, "Well, I'm very glad that my mother is loving towards the grandchildren, etc." You know, it's, I'm angry because she was not anything like that when I was young. What can I do to get unstuck and finally heal this wound?
mm.
You know, that's Cheryl.
Oh yeah.
Take it
You
away,
Somatic
go,
Cheryl.
girl.
therapy.
Take
Take
it
it
away,
away,
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
It's somatic therapy. You have
Yeah.
to heal that wound from the body. From the because we can understand it, of course. You know that you're angry because she wasn't, who you needed her to be. But then what do you do with that? You have to go
Yeah.
into the body and feel what it felt like, feel the anger and give it time to complete itself, and then uh, part of the somatic healing is also imagining what that little girl would have wanted to say to the mom
Yeah.
who wasn't giving her the attention, and give
Mhm.
that little girl a voice, and she didn't have one because when we're little we don't. It's too dangerous, you know
That's such a hard one, though.
so yeah, it has to, but healing, somatically is, using the body to heal that, and it's so healable.
Yeah.
And I also want to say from the other side perspective,
Mm,
perhaps in a past life you may have been this way. You may have been her mother. If you view, let's change the lens just a little bit around and see
mhm,
if that's a possibility. And then you would be experiencing what she had experienced because
Mhm.
we all bring in, we choose our mothers, we choose our fathers. I
mm,
don't know what I was thinking, but we choose them, we choose our siblings. And oh my God,
mm.
I'm still paying for that one. And so anyway,
But it's also to learn the lesson, to learn
it's to
maybe a
learn
lesson
the
that we came here
lessons.
to
And so
learn
maybe
too.
your
Mhm.
lesson, Adeline, would be forgiveness for yourself, forgiveness
Mm,
for her. She did whatever her past was. I mean, there's so many compassion. There's so many things. I'm thrilled that she's a good grandmother because what
mm,
if she were not a good grandmother?
yeah.
That would
Mhm.
really be horrific. And then you'd have to
Mhm.
cut her off at the knees and learn boundaries. I mean,
Mhm.
Right, right.
so there you go. I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Judy Friedman. Hi, Judy. We
Hi,
love you,
Judy.
Judy.
Oh, we
My
love you
God.
so much.
We always travel with
She's the
Judy, but we haven't
best.
Mhm.
traveled in
Yeah,
Europe for a long time.
I
Judy
know.
says, "What if one of your siblings was given a higher expectation and did not achieve, but you did affected relationship with that, but you did, and that affected the relationship with that
Mm.
sibling?"
Well, thanks, mom and dad, for doing
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah,
know. I
thanks,
was
mom and
just
dad.
thinking that. I was like, "Oh man, I see this a lot if you're like 40 and up, the
Mm,
Ah,
yeah,
the comparison. That's tricky."
yeah.
it's so
Well,
tricky, but
and
such a good
and
question.
Mhm.
yeah, the reason why it's directed to the sibling who didn't have anything to do with it is because the sibling is a safer person to be angry at than the parent.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
again, it's working through the feeling okay to be angry at the parent who created that, and
Mhm.
for the one who succeeded, to know that it's their stuff. So to be as kind
Mhm.
as possible, but to also set boundaries
Yeah.
because you didn't do anything. It's the
Mhm.
siblings' anger
Right.
that's misdirected. You know,
Oh, Cheryl, that's so
yeah,
true.
yeah.
I was
Families are
just
tough.
they're so tough. I was just
Mm,
thinking too, it goes back to the surpass. Just keep knowing that you will belong even if you surpass it's their stuff. I would also sometimes, not all the time, it's not like a hard fast rule, but sometimes I'll see like an early death in the grandparents' generation. So it's almost like somebody's missing and then that person's kind of like falling in the hole. So maybe see if there's anybody that died 55 and
Mm,
under in the grandparents line.
oh, that's
wow.
interesting.
Like an
Wow.
aunt, an uncle, great,
Yeah.
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Here's a
And
from
if
this
you're
is from Go ahead.
One last thing just on that. And if the sibling that succeeded feels guilty for the success, to work that through, because that is your stuff. There's nothing, guilt is about feeling bad about doing something,
Yeah.
About doing something wrong.
And Judy,
you
today
didn't.
Judy is Yom Kippur. It's a good day to forgive and let go, right?
And that includes, you did
It's
nothing wrong, forgiving yourself for succeeding.
right. So true. Exactly. And she did. Judy, you've done great things in the world. You're a great soul and a wonderful angelic healer, I might add.
Oh
So
yeah,
Patrick
absolutely.
Horan says, I recently lost my mother. Sorry about that, Patrick. Her past wasn't heart-wrenching, but uplifting, knowing that she is in a good place. That's fantastic. Is that because we are both November birthdays, 11/1 and 11/27? It could be. Let me just say just for a second, let me just check. So you are a 6 of diamonds, and 6 of diamonds always comes in for balance and balance. So you would understand there's balance in the world, balance in the universe. And 11/27 was your mother, and she was a six
No,
of
no,
hearts.
she's 11/1 and he's
Oh,
11/27.
either way, you're both sixes. 6 of hearts. So you are a 6 of hearts, Patrick, and she's a 6 of diamonds. Sorry, I got that mixed up. But both sixes there would be a huge connection of karma, because 6 also rules the karma there, and balance, and so it would work out well. That's a great question, and I'm sorry for your loss, but I love that upliftment. I love that.
Me too.
Because they're on the other side, they're having major
Yeah.
parties. Major
Yeah.
parties. I have to answer this one question. I thought this was a great question too. Lori Lutterby, she says, does the universe know when an event like a 9/11 is coming, and how do they prepare for it? Yes, they do.
Oh.
Yes, they do. They absolutely know, because when I've had experiences on the other side watching people volunteer in big
Mm.
auditoriums for a 9/11, blah, 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 whatever it happens to be, whatever it happens to be. And I've actually witnessed it. And so I know that people raise their hand and say, you know what, that works in my karmic pattern right now, and I'll take that one on. So yes, they know ahead of time when things are going to happen. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. I mean, we may not know, and we may have I knew something was going down in 2020.
Me
I
too.
was talking about it from July of 2019,
Me
but
too.
I didn't know the word pandemic. I just knew something, and I was like, "Henny penny, the sky is gonna fall," and those people just didn't want to be around me anymore. Um, but I knew it. Okay. And Gab says, "Does family constellation healing work for in-laws?"
It
Okay,
does.
wait a minute. For instance, a soon-to-be ex-daughter-in-law who may be borderline personality disorder. She's
Ooh.
had trauma in
Mm.
her family. Can I help her with a constellation therapy? Great question.
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, I mean, kind of by proxy, since she was married into your family, she will always belong in the family system.
Yeah.
So you could put her in a field and see if there was anything that was blocking your connection with her, or if there was anything in her way. So you absolutely can. Yeah.
I never even thought about that, Carrie. That is
Yeah.
so interesting,
Yeah.
because in families that I have known, there've always been an in-law or an ex-law or one of those, and it always seems to have created a big mess somewhere
Hmm.
along the way.
Mm.
I'm just saying, Cheryl. And I was just
I hear you, Kel.
wondering, loud and clearly. I never thought about that in a family constellation
Yeah.
way. That's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah.
And that's interesting that they kind of start to become now part of the bubble.
Yeah. I mean, even trauma becomes part of the bubble. Like if you have a grandparent that's in a car accident, the person that him or her and died, they're part of the family system until somebody actually faces it and clears it. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's trippy how kind of extended it can be. Yeah. And I see
Wow.
the in-law
Wow.
question a lot, and even like previous partners, to our
Yeah.
parents, like previous partners really are in the family system and play a big role too.
Mm.
So
I did a reading for somebody yesterday who had lost a mother, and it was the weirdest thing, because the mother who came to me in the reading, she was doing this with my head, and I thought, that's odd. I mean, I've had souls talk about my hair,
yeah.
I said, "Oh, your mother has a thing for hair like this," and she goes, "Oh, no, no." I said, "Are you sure she's talking?" Then did she have a thing about heads? I mean, like, because I was feeling this and this. She had lost her beloved husband. His head had come off in a car accident.
Oh,
Oh
Yeah, she was just trying to
no.
get me to get that, and I was like, "What?" And it
wow.
had been in that
Whoa.
family system. The trauma of that family had,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
No
big one.
way.
And I'm like this with this soul. Like, what does this mean? Is it my hair? It's not
Wow.
my hair. It was my head.
No head,
Oh
lady.
my God.
Wow.
Girl, I had
That's
never had that experience in
crazy.
20 years. I was like, oh.
That's crazy.
I walked out of here
Wow.
like,
Wow.
anyway. Okay. And Margaret says, Dr. Shirley, how can I feel like I belong when I am an orphan? Parents have died, sister
Mm,
not speaking, and she's mean borderline.
mm.
So doing this work with you, ladies, solo, but I feel I don't belong due to no family. Oh, okay, girl.
That's so hard.
That is hard.
Yeah.
It's, we have this idea in our society that belonging has to be a blood connection.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it really doesn't, especially if your family is not the nurturing kind and, you have a sister for a borderline. It's important to feel the belonging with your friends, with the supportive, system that you have around you. And even if you don't have a lot of friends, if you're working with a therapist, that person is a support system and it'll start to grow. But it's not just, we have this idea that it has to be just limited to family, and some people's families suck.
Yeah.
Really?
Right. So it's about feeling the belonging. What does it feel like when you're around a supportive friend?
Yeah.
Many times you feel the warmth and the love, and you feel, your chest expands and you feel kind of held. So I would start to notice how it feels like, and when you're around your friends that are supportive, and start to view them as your supported kind of emotional family. Because that's what family is supposed to be. They're supposed to be supportive emotionally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. Judy Friedman says, friends are the family you choose. Right on, Judy.
I think, didn't
couldn't
your mom
agree
have
more.
something? You don't choose your family, but you choose your friends. And it would be lovely if family represented that, that wonderful emotional support. But many times they don't. And so it's finding that supportive family somewhere else, because family, the definition of family is that emotional support.
Right.
Karie, I'm sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it breaks my heart to read that because I don't want to speak for you guys, but I feel like all of us at one point have felt like we haven't belonged, and that's probably a big impetus of why we created Roots of Healing. You belong with us, and friends. I mean, I do a lot of constellations, you guys. It's rare for me to see a family that is supportive and loving and flowing and healthy and dynamic. Like,
I couldn't agree more. I mean, as a therapist and as a medium, I work with families and people all day long, and I almost, this is not a good thing, but some of the stories I hear, they're laughable because they're all so mad. Like, really? I mean, somehow I have to kind of separate myself and almost envision this as, wow, like I'm watching a movie. Like, you want to talk about dysfunction? I just watched White Orchid, the HBO show White Orchid. Did you guys?
White Lotus.
White Lotus.
White Lotus.
Orchid
Oh my
Lotus.
God, I got so sucked into it.
I haven't seen it yet.
Sure.
Watch it, Cheryl.
Yeah.
It'll break your brain.
Oh, really?
And we've known everybody on this.
Totally.
Oh my God. So wait, Renee, would you put Renee Hounsel's quote back in, please? Back up. Thank you. So Renee asked, do we all interact for the Roots of Healing? Is it more of a webinar? Excited and grateful to be part of this. Oh, I'm so glad you're going to be there. It is interaction. I mean, I'm going to start with, I'm going to lecture the first, I don't know, 40, 45 minutes or something like that. And then we'll have questions and answers and all kinds of things. And I may take questions as I'm going. I probably will, because that's kind of how I work. And then Shirley, yours is going to be interactive because you're going to be talking about tools and showing them and giving them tools.
Yeah,
for
I'm
healing
just going to give
trauma.
initially kind of an overview on how we remember things and how trauma kind of gets stuck in the nervous system in the body, just so we can understand it, because that's what helped me to understand the process. And then, of course, give tools and do exercises so you can actually feel it in your body, and then give tools that you can do on your own.
That you'll be able to have.
And then, of course, questions and answers. Yeah, I love the interaction piece.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
And then Karie's piece.
Yeah,
out.
I will be talking about dynamics that create the programming and intergenerational, that was a hard word, trauma. And then at the end, I'm going to do a group constellation, which is very interactive
It's
and a bit
really
wild.
interactive. It's
Yeah,
unbelievable.
it's
If
unbelievable.
you
It's
haven't
so
had a
cool.
session with Karie, because I know
Oh
it
my
takes a long
God.
time to get in to
Yeah.
see you these days, but wow, it's worth
Amazing.
coming to this for that experience. I mean,
Life
really,
changing.
it
Yeah.
it is life changing. I
Oh, it
mean,
is.
it just is.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really a great one. You will love it, Tracy says. Amazing to be with these three and learn and release. Right on. It's going to be so fun.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, Indigo Spica. Good evening, ladies. I am Karie. Hi, Karie. Yes, there are still spots available in Roots of Healing, and today we have 15% off the discount. So please go up, sign up, and it's on September 25th, and it's going to be great. And we still have some spots left. So, Kim Ann. Hi, Kim Ann. Notice
Hi,
my
Kim
flowers,
Ann.
Kim Ann. Hello. She said, I was amazed at how long those papers. So let's talk about that, Karie. She stood on and stayed charged. Would you
Kim
want to
Ann,
explain
I
that?
was thinking of you today. So family constellation therapy is done predominantly in big groups of people. So you would sit on the sidelines and someone would stand in and represent mom's energy, dad's energy, money, if there was something specific that you wanted to work on. So obviously during the group, we're going to use paper as our kind of people. And it's the practitioner opens up what is called a morphogenic field, which is just a really activated space, but it's the soul's consciousness of your entire family system from start to finish. So those papers, when you're in the group constellation, especially because we're doing it in a group with everyone, those papers stay really charged. So I always tell people, keep your papers. Some people don't like it. They like to throw them away because you can stand on the papers 2 weeks later and start rocking
No, I'm not
around,
kidding you.
start
The
moving.
the
Yeah.
moment Karie opens this, and she'll say, I'm opening the morphogenic field,
Yeah.
I start getting dizzy. It's the damnedest thing.
Yeah.
And we're all
Yeah.
thousands of miles away from each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so cool. I'm
It's
happy
amazing.
you kept the papers, Kim Ann. They
Yeah,
were my favorite part.
That's
Yeah.
wonderful. I remember, Karie, one time I was pushed against the wall, and you know me and my left brain. I'm like, what the fuck? Who's pushing me against the wall? And I literally, I was
Yeah.
pushed
Me
against
too.
the wall. It was,
Just boom.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. It's just amazing. Indigo Spike said, I just gave her a beautiful reading, Kelly. Thank you. Oh, that's so sweet. I would
Oh,
love
I
to
love
join the
that.
class for my own personal journey. Oh, you should, honey. It'd be great for you. It would be great for you to do that. It said Beth Glonsky says the first Roots of Healing changed my life. It was scary and
Oh.
exciting. I can feel my spirit guides with me now, and I still have my papers too.
Yay.
Thank
So
you,
Beth,
Beth.
so she still has her original papers. Would she use those this time?
I wouldn't. You can shake them out. Like if you want to recycle, just shake them out. I would just write the number on the other side, but I would get fresh. I mean, I'm OCD though. I would get fresh papers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just thinking for like extra charge.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but it
No,
might be, what if it's not, I don't know.
yeah. I
No?
wouldn't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
And for
Debbie
people,
Foster, go ahead, Cheryl.
I'm sorry, I was just going to say that for people who don't know what we're talking about, they're just the 8x4, like blank, any kind of
Yeah,
piece of
Just a
paper
piece of paper.
that
just a piece of
represents,
paper.
Yeah. And we stand on them and all kinds of things happen. So Debbie Foster Horan says, can one do a family constellation therapy session as an individual?
Yeah, I do a lot of one-on-one work. I do more of that than groups now just because of the pandemic, but you would just stand on the papers would just represent whatever you felt was stuck in your family system. So I actually got an email about this, like, do I need my parents present? Do I need, that person? It's like, we don't need anything. We just need where you're feeling stuck, where there's fears, phobias, what patterns have been following you around, and then we can create a constellation around that.
Wow. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Steve Kanicki says, my siblings and I don't get along. I'm fine
Mhm.
without them. Do I have to reconcile? Nope.
No.
No, you don't.
No.
I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think, Cheryl?
you're asking me?
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I'm the Pollyanna of the group. I'm like, well, maybe check Steve and see if there's some estrangement like further back, because it could be a pattern that's repeating. But
That's true.
I think boundaries are where it's at.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's part of me that wants to just clear up everything because
Yeah.
I'm not coming back. I'm
Me
not.
neither.
Not.
No.
That's it. I've spoken. That's it. So a part of me it would almost feels like, oh, listen, I'm going to do the best I
Yeah.
can to clean up more of the mess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Then you get tired.
But you also see, the part of that is you also have to put yourself in the equation. And sometimes we
Yeah.
miss that because we're supposed to get along with our siblings.
Mhm.
But if a sibling is abusive or is not kind or is not nice, why would you?
Mhm.
I remember I said that to my sibling. I said, if you're going to put me down and
Mhm.
ridicule me, which was, and we've certainly made up and I understood her portion of it. And now, we get along really well. But I said, then I don't need to be around you. I don't want to be. I don't have people in my life that do that anymore. And I choose not to. So whether you're sister, brother, blood relative or not, I don't, so it's an idea of you have to put yourself in the equation of
Right.
taking care of.
Mhm.
And that's an important piece.
Mhm.
Cheryl, we have a question for you from
Yeah.
Adeline. Dr. Shirley, do you have any pointers to help people who were taught that feeling feelings is bad to unlearn that and be able to do somatic healing?
Well, first of all, I would imagine telling those people, I wouldn't say go do it, but I would imagine telling those people, fuck you, you're wrong. Okay. That's what I would start with. Feelings are a part of being a mammal. We can't deny them. If we're taught that, we've done a great skill of pushing them down, and that's a survival skill. But they're still there. Emotions are energy. So the energy gets stuck. And many times that's what the body will then speak louder. And sometimes cancer is associated with
Right.
rage, right?
Migraines certainly are.
Yes, yes. So the emotions will eventually show up either in a body, disease or illness. So it's getting in touch with emotions. There's always a sensation that goes with emotion. I mean, I had to learn it like it was a new language because my father, remember, my send off to college was study hard and don't get into a relationship because emotions are a waste of time. And I went, yeah, no shit. Sure. And I believed him.
Right.
And it was first noticing, okay, when this happened, what do you notice? What do you feel? And I was, well, I don't know, nothing. What are you noticing in your body? A heaviness. Oh, maybe that's sadness. So that's how you start to discover, your emotions again. And you start to bring them up into conscious awareness.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow. Judy Friedman, close friend who constantly crosses the boundaries. Gosh, do we know anybody like that?
What?
Kelly, you've become an expert on that. So I would give that one to you.
Yeah, I'm like, enough's enough. I'm done.
Yeah.
I actually got to a place in my life where I'm done. I sound like James. James and I talk about this all the time, every day. I'm done. I'm done with that. I'm done. You just get there. In my 20s, I was nowhere near there. Talk about a broken picker. 30s, forget about it. 40s, I was getting not so good. 50s, I got really good at it. And 60s, I'm like the queen. Boundaries. So when I've had enough, I've had enough. You just have to know when you've had enough. And as an empath, it's hard to know when you've had enough.
Yeah.
But you don't have to heal everybody. You don't have to. I watch the energy. If somebody treats me a certain way, I'm done. I just do that now.
Keep
I've gotten
setting
really strong
boundaries.
with it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Keep setting boundaries.
Yeah,
Keep setting
boundaries.
boundaries. Yeah.
That's a tough one. And I know, Shirley, that you're going to have to go in a minute, but I wanted to
Yeah.
say, again, thank you for being on today.
Oh, this
Because I
was
know you
so
have a class
fun.
that you have to teach, but
I do.
this is going to be a wonderful event that we have on
Yeah.
September 25th, Roots of Healing Part 2.
Yes.
So fun.
And answering all the questions, and you've got all three of us, and the three of us together bring a lot of energy to the experience. And you'll get lunch and breaks.
Yeah.
I think a couple of breaks. Sometimes, we've been accused of working straight through, but we're going to try not to do that. But we all get so interested in it. Everybody's
Yeah.
like, like we're trying to answer all the questions and everything,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah.
always fun.
It's fun. It's so fun.
Yeah.
It's
a
good
really
to see you,
great
Cheryl.
event.
Great to see you guys. I'm sorry I have to run off now, but oh my God, the three of us together. I love seeing you
Yes.
guys.
I love
Me
you
too.
guys.
Bye,
Earth,
everyone.
wind, and water. Don't forget.
Yes.
Bye,
All right.
honey. Love you.
Bye.
Bye,
Love you too. Bye.
I had to say that.
Oh man, I love it.
Yeah.
I love that when you said Earth, Wind, and Fire, I was like, wait, where are they playing? I was
I
like, it's
know.
crazy to think it was 2 years ago.
I know.
Yeah.
And that was right before all of this
Yeah,
happened.
I know.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
all of it was there was so much that happened. My baby granddaughter was born a couple of days after
Mm,
that. I mean, it was like bum, 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 bum. There's so many things that happened.
mm.
What? Okay, so let's see some more. Oh, everybody's so excited. I'm so glad. 60s is when you enter your Empress energy. Mary Margaret, you are right.
Yes.
That is it. That is
Yes.
the truth. It is the Empress. I am the Empress. I'm going to use that
Yes.
word.
That's awesome.
I'm going to use that word. I love that.
Mhm.
When Kim Ann says, when I turned 30, my give a damn got busted. Well, I bet. I bet. Oh
I
my
feel like
God.
you do get more liberated like each decade. It's really
You
beautiful,
do.
you
You
know?
really
Yeah.
do. I mean, if you
Yeah.
can live long enough,
Yeah.
you do get there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you can live long enough and really start living your dreams and everything that
Yeah.
you wanted to do, start doing it now.
Yeah.
Start
Yeah.
doing that now. Don't you think?
I
Start living
agree.
your life now. Don't wait
Mhm.
till whenever. Just
Yeah.
start doing it now.
Yeah.
Start living your good, best life ever.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
Me too.
Me too. And so a lot of people are going to be joining us, Carrie. It's going to be
So
a lot of
excited. It's
fun.
so fun. I always love all the questions and the interaction. It's my favorite.
Oh, mine
Yeah.
too. Mine too.
Yeah.
And people come up with some great questions.
Great questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about what,
Yeah.
just things that I might not have thought about. And if anybody wants a private session with Carrie, it's spiritandsparkle.com. And I think you're booked probably to the end of the year, I'm assuming.
To early December, like the first week
Yeah.
of December. But people they don't move around a lot, but I have a wait list. So just yeah, my store is
Okay.
still closed just because my new website is finally coming out early October because I'm starting family constellation teacher training. But just shoot me an email. The contact page works, and I'll get you scheduled. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yes, I
amazing.
know. I know.
I'm
I'm so
really glad you're
excited.
going to be teaching
Me
that.
too. Me too. I
Wow.
already have a couple people, these women that are just extraordinary, which I mean, you probably think of this. I love this work so much. It changed my life. So I'm just so
Yeah.
excited that everyone gets hopefully to experience it in the coming years,
Oh, I
you
hope
know.
so too. I mean, I'm
Me
a huge
too.
promoter of it. I think it's
Yeah,
the
I know. I'm
one of
so
the
grateful.
most healing things that people can
Yeah.
do. And I just want to say I have some openings, I think next week and the week after, or the week after, I can't remember. So if anybody would like readings, go to my website, kellywhite.com. And Ann Margaret says, I have an appointment Monday with you, but it took months.
Yay! It
Oh,
took
Ann
months.
Margaret, you're
Sorry.
going to love it. You're going to love it.
We're gonna have fun. I always tell people don't schedule a lot if you're doing a constellation.
Oh,
Even with
yeah.
roots of healing, you'll get really tired after. I call them
Oh,
FCT hangovers.
you'll be
You'll be
exhausted after that.
exhausted.
The three of
Yeah,
us are going to stay online and we're going to have
yeah,
cocktails, but everybody else is going to be wiped out.
yeah, yeah.
Well, we'll be
So
wiped out too.
hydrate.
Hydrate. That's
Yeah,
so true. That's
yeah.
so true. Well, gosh, everybody. So we look forward to seeing, I'll look forward to
Yes.
seeing everybody next Thursday. Um, and I'm going to be doing readings next Thursday, so which is always fun.
Fun.
And James and I will be on Monday. So Monday's show is going to be really interesting. Have you ever done this? So James has a good friend who's going to be on our show. Her name is Carolyn Mumelo, and she's a wonderful woman. James and I actually had lunch with her in New York 2 or 3 years ago, and she's wonderful. And she's a card reader, and she's going to do a live reading for me for my birthday on Monday.
Fun.
So
Oh,
that's
that's so fun.
going to be
Oh,
hilarious. It's going to be
oh my
great.
God, I love it.
So that's going to be Monday, everybody. And then I will see everybody back next Thursday also. And Carrie, I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yes.
And I'll see you September 25th at Roots of Healing
Yes.
for sure.
Yes. Thank
All
you. It was so
right.
good to see
It's
you.
great to see you.
Yes.
All right. Love
Okay.
you.
Love you.
Thanks, Renee.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thanks, Renee.
everybody.
Bye.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kelly White.